and two with two deep safeties, so I keep somebody over the top. Because the speed Alabama has and the receiver core they have, you don't want to give them nothing early, nothing fast, nothing quick hitch. Because you get them rolling early, it's going to be lights out, man. You're not going to be able to stop Ryan Groves. You kind of like to play Ryan Groves like you play Sarton, like you play Kiffin. Don't give them nothing deep because you give them something deep, they're going to run you in the ground. Like they'll start off and they'll beat you to death because you're never going to be able to catch up.
Facts. I personally think that it depends. I agree with what Coach Carr said. I also think that it will be some teams out there like a LSU, depending on their talent, that they may try to play man for a couple of series, just depending on, because remember, there's some teams out there that got some really, really good defensive backs.
Yeah,
I
LSU
think
had two draft eligible corners. Like they got two
right.
draft eligible corner, a second round pick, and I think like second and third round corner.
Yeah,
but I don't think they got the foot speed. It's the receiver that Alabama has. Like you can throw some teams, you can throw some teams out there that can have one solid corner that can play man, but who you gonna man them? Like pick your choice. If you man Ryan Williams, even though he's not the physical guy, but he's fast. So you can't really man around. You're gonna have to have an even man with one on top. You can man Jared Bernard because he's not that fast. You can probably man Isaiah Horton until you get inside the red zone. Now he's a jump ball type of kid, so you can't man him in the red zone. You got to zone him in the red zone. So it's like pick your poison with Alabama right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%, man, because that cover three, as we call it, middle of the field close. They 7 defenders. You want to close that off. I think that's true what Coach Carr said, and it's not going to be a lot of teams that's going to be able to do that. I think based off personnel, somebody will try it. You know what I mean? Somebody will just try to be physical with him until Ryan can show that he can, get off press consistently against the teams that's really, really aggressive with him. Somebody will try it. Somebody will try it. That's football. Let's try this. Let's try that. But once the film get out of him, I guess extenuating his weaknesses, stuff that he was weak on last year, if you want to say, it'll be teams that'll study that. I would, what did he not do well? Let me look and see what did he not do well. It'll be teams play him like that. A lot of that was inaccuracy at the quarterback position. Sometimes a lot of it was sometimes he would shorten his routes on times he shouldn't shorten his routes, or run too deep on times he shouldn't run too deep. In the SEC, if a route is supposed to be, that's what made Devontae Smith so good, bro. If the route is supposed to be 12 yards, you better believe he running 12 yards. He breaking at 12. I mean, not 15, not 11, right? And that repetition, every day doing it. That's what made Devontae so different. I think Ryan is going to extenuate his weaknesses, make him better, because I seen him working out with Devontae. So it's a cluster. It's a mixture of everything, man. But the bottom line is, if a team is willing to play man against Ryan or double Ryan, all that's going to do is open up for other receivers, man. All that's going to do is open up for other receivers. And that's when Alabama was at their best. That's when Alabama was at their best.
So yes. You remember when they started doubling Jerry Judy and they turned him and Ruggs loose, turned Jalen Waller loose, turned Smith loose. Like, you had to pick your poison. You double Judy, and then everybody else beat you. Because Judy would go games that he didn't have but 1 or 2 catches. And everybody else would have, like Devontae Smith had, 4 touchdowns in one game because you double Judy. So, I mean, this type of offense that I think that we're going back to, man, that it's going to be so potent that if you double one, you're going to turn loose 3. So the best thing you do is try to zone them all out. And hopefully you can stick with zone. But if, like, Ryan, I think Ryan and Lacier Brook has that J-Mo type of speed, man, that zone beater. Like Georgia tried to zone J-Mo, and J-Mo ran past the zone. Like, I think it's that type of speed on Alabama right now, man. Because I mean, cover 3, man. A lot of folks play cover 3, but the middle of the field is a safety.
Facts.
But the two outsides of the field are corners. The boundaries are the corners. Corners get beat. Like, you put a corner in cover 3, 9 times out of 10, man, the corner, if he's not Pat Peterson type being corner, they're gonna get beat. Even with Bama last year, man, you see when Bama went to cover 3, our corners got beat. Because a lot of corners, man, you backpedaling until you get a yard or 2 up on the receiver to find out is he going to streak or he going post, he going curl, he going out, he digging. Like you got to backpedal until you figure out. You got to stay square until you find out what he's doing. And by the time you find out what he's doing, once he hit that second gear, he run past you. It's over. Like
Facts.
it's a wrap.
100%.
So cover
man.
3 is one of those. Cover 3 is one of those hit and miss type defense, man. I don't really like it. Honestly, I don't like it.
You got to have the personnel to run cover 3. That's a whole fact, brother. Stephen Angle says, Coach Sean, is Jake Mirror still around? Jake, we hadn't spoke with him, Stephen. We don't know where Jake. I don't know where Jake is. I've been trying to get in contact with him, man. I'm, just to make sure he was okay. But if I know Jake, man, Jake probably somewhere chilling, sipping a pina colada, kick back with his shades on, doing this right here. You know what I mean? Jake, I don't know where he at, but I know Jake, man. He is good wherever he at. We just waiting on him to come back, man. He got a seat with us anytime. Thanks. You know what I mean? That's the brother. We love him. And that's just what it's going to be for death. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jake, wherever you at, brother. We waiting on you to come back, my friend.
That's right. I texted him the other day, man. He didn't hit me back. So I'm still waiting on that hit back from the text.
Yeah, man. KB says, I think another guy we got to watch for is Rico Stock. So that's a good question. Let me ask you guys this, Coach Carl and Ty. So DeBoer, before we get into this last subject, let me ask you this first. Being that DeBoer, well, not DeBoer, but Grubb being a screen pass guy, a wide receiver screen pass guy, short throws, meshes, vertical play action, being that he liked the post concepts, which I do too, great at manipulating those 2 safety high structures. I want to know what you guys, how do you see our receivers that we have? The Rico Scotts, just like KB said, the Ryan Williams. We know Ryan. We almost don't even have to speak on Ryan. We know Ryan. But everybody outside of Ryan, how do you see these guys fitting into this type of scheme? The horizontal stretches.
Yeah, I'm going to even say this. I think we can include Jeremy Bernard in that same conversation with Ryan, right? In terms of, I just think Jeremy is such a great weapon for any team to have. Like, I think every team out there, if they were told, hey, Jeremy Bernard is going to be at like your wide receiver 2, they're all thinking, oh, goodness gracious, if that's our wide receiver 2, we're in great shape, right? Because he really does remind me a lot of Mechie, where it's just one of those guys, it's like he can do whatever you want him to. And so Jeremy, I think, is just such a great compliment to Ryan. And let's not forget, gentlemen, Jeremy Bernard's played under Ryan Grubb.
And you know what? I forgot about that. That is such a good point. Man, I forgot about that.
Cuevas has played under Ryan Grubb.
I like Jeremy Bernard. Yeah.
That is such a good point.
I think he's more like Tank Dell to me, man. I like him more like a Tank Dell. How they use Tank Dell down there in Houston, Texas. I think he's more Tank Dell type, like, and you see what Tank Dell looks like. That's a whole beast down there in Houston. And I think that's Jeremy Bernard 2.0. Like, I think, well, he Tank Dell 2.0.
Yeah, and I don't mean that I think that, like, Jeremy is like, when I say he reminds me of Mechie, what I mean is just like the value Mechie offered Alabama, right? Where it was just like everybody was sitting there thinking about Jameson Williams. Oh God, Jameson, how do we just stop him? And then you look up and you're like, man, this dude over here is cooking us too. Like, how if we pull resources to J-Mo, Mechie's cooking us over here because he can just, like, what do you need him to do? He'll do it. He's gritty. He's a dog. You remember when Jeremy first got to Alabama last year for the spring game, he goes up and gets smacked by Malachi Moore. I mean smacked. Like, that's about as hard of a hit in a spring game as you're going to see. He got up pumped. Like, he got up, and it was almost like when he gets contact, he's more excited. And when right then and there, I knew. I was like, oh, he's a dog. Oh, this is perfect. So I think those two are spoken for. I think Isaiah Horton offers you such a compliment on the other side, because let's pretend in a world like Horton's going to take that other outside spot.
Facts.
Because the brilliance of Jeremy and Ryan is you can move them outside, inside. Like they have that positional versatility, kind of like Devontae Smith did, right? Where he'll cook you on the outside, but God forbid you let him get inside and he's going to cook you. Like he could just do so much. Jeremy and Ryan have that ability. You can put them inside, you can put them outside for the matchups, right? Where do you want to get them? Who do you want to match them up on? Coach Carl, you were talking about cover 3. You put Ryan on the inside in that cover 3 and have him run right in front of the face of the safety. Now those two outside corners are sitting there worrying about Horton one-on-one and Jeremy Bernard one-on-one. And that safety, he can't do anything but watch Ryan Williams. And here's the kicker, gentlemen. If you're in a 4 wide, now you have Rico Scott. Now you have Cole Adams, who's a tricky route runner. And let's not forget, he ran like a 10,600 meter dash. When he's healthy, he's a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. You have Lotzier Brooks. You have Cuevas, all there to soak up whatever the defense can account for. So when you look at what Alabama presents from a talent perspective, looking at the tight end room, looking at the wide receiver room, and then looking at what DeBoer and Grubb want to do, I really think Grubb is looking around thinking, man, I have all the weapons I need for my offense. What do I want to get in my bag with that day? What do I want to attack them with? I have guys to do it all. And I think if you're an offensive coordinator, that's so exciting. Being able to have a guy like Jeremy who can already teach the guys what DeBoer wants, but now he can be a leader in the room in terms of, oh, this is what Grubb wants for the wide receivers. Now you have Cuevas, who can do that same thing for the tight ends. Oh, this is what Grubb wants. Now you have Parker on the offensive line with all the offensive guys being like, this is what – gentlemen, we have a guy, Austin Mack in the quarterback room. You have a guy at every position group except running back that can be like, yeah, this is exactly what Grubb wants. And I've said this so many times. There's a reason why in college, a lot of the times, tutors are your peers as opposed to a professor.
Facts.
Because it's easy getting that one-on-one with someone who is a peer because you relate to them. So you get that coaching from the professor, then you go to the tutoring session, and now you're talking to someone who's like your age, your peer, and now you're just kind of repping what you just learned. I think that that's something that was big last year, but doubly big this year in terms of there's another layer of new. But for Alabama, you have a guy at every position group who can also be a coach within the room to say, this is something Grubb likes. This is something Grubb wants to be done. That's awesome.
That's super awesome, man. Shout out Kanafi. That's a whole fat Kanafi. Whenever he come back, we're gonna throw a whole fiesta for sure. Double L, what's going on with you, bro? Kimberly, all facts. Let me ask you guys this, man, because you guys got me excited about these wide receivers, man. You know, I'm an offensive guy. I try not to get, because once I start watching film and I get in this zone, and man, I'll be watching them and trying to find stuff they do. Go back and watch some Isaiah Horton tape in Miami. So with Grubb, man, now I watched him at Washington several times. Now, these guys as a group, as a whole, and I know this is a different group of receivers, but when they had their group, man, they ran mesh. I talked about how they ran mesh out of these condensed sets, like bunch, really, really tight sets, right? So what I liked about these wide receivers on that team, and I really see ours having these same characteristics, they understood how to beat zone, not necessarily run by it, but they understand how to find space and do what we call squat. Sit down, squat, find space in the zone and squat, man. I really enjoy that about how they teach their wide receivers, man. That's some pro stuff right there, right? So I'm excited, man, to see these guys, man. Shout out to Nichols. Nichols hitting it off again. Shout out to Nichols. Much love to Nichols. $2 super chat. We know we got at Bama. The haters don't. And that's a whole fact. Nichols, I could not have said it better at all. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so very much. $2 super chat from Nichols. And guess what, Nichols? You are 100% correct. $2 super chat from Nichols. Roll Tide to you, Nichols. I agree, man. I agree because we have the talent in this wide receiver bunch to be absolutely outstanding. These guys, as a group, I talked about how they run mesh out of condensed sets, not spread, but condensed sets, what we call double squeeze. We call that double squeeze. So I can't wait, man. I cannot wait to see this offense. Ty, I tell you, for like 2 years ago, we was talking about offense. At the beginning of this season, we was talking about offense, man, and what we didn't like on third down. Just a certain play calling. I forgot what term we called it. I forgot what term Ty coined.
Foundational play
Foundational play calling. There it is, man. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. What characteristic did we call it? Foundational play calling, meaning hence not just calling plays to be calling them, right? I want to know what you think, Coach Carl. What do you think as far as the foundational play calling? How would that affect us going into this first game against Florida State with the receivers that you just talked about, with the offensive line that you just talked about? How does this foundational play calling, a smart coordinator who's been there before in the biggest games, how does that help us going down to Tallahassee?
Okay, let's start like this, right? Remember how LSU played the year before they got Joe Brady?
Yeah.
They had the same talent with less production. You take Joe Brady out of NFL offense and put him in the college football field, and how he started running that squeeze. Joe Brady basically started that squeeze set, that condensed squeeze. Set. So now when he tightened up the three receivers, everybody has around. Now you got to stack your DBs around, and then you got to pick up on whoever
on the release. Exactly.
So you got somebody might have first out, somebody might have first in, somebody got first, right? So what if the first out turns around and comes in, the first in turns and bails out, and then you get your defensive back screwed up? We got the deep part covered, but we got an in out here and an out and in here. Now your defensive back has to switch. So that condensed sets, man, is weird. It's really, really, really tight squeeze, weird offense, but it throws your defensive backs in all different type hoo-wow. Because Clemson ran a tight squeeze set against us in that championship game where Tony Brown had to go behind. It's kind of like a pit paper. Tony Brown had to go all the way behind to get out there retro before he caught that touchdown pass. He barely made it there. The kid caught the ball, right? So when you start talking about these tight squeeze set, it throws the defense on. So when you start talking about a brilliant play caller knows in a situation of football what play to pull in this situation. Like when you start even when it's 7-on-7, right? You know you got first down play, you got a second down play. From 3rd and 15, I got a 3rd and 15 play in 7-on-7 because you gotta have your brain and your playbook set up for these different type situations and the different type offenses, and when you're playing against different type defense. So if you give me a man-to-man look on 3rd down and 5, I'm gonna run some type, crossing. We're gonna do some type of mesh play so we can cross your lineman, and your wide receiver, your DB and your linebacker. Somebody gonna have to pick and choose, right? Yeah. Somebody gotta make a choice. So if I run this mesh play across the middle, somebody gonna pick and choose. If your DB chooses to sit back, we're gonna bomb you right here on the outside, the inside, on the wide, on our X's and our Y's, right? So it's all about choices that you make as a defensive coordinator in these different type of situations. If we know we're 3rd and long, we can't do never throw something underneath and hold you break a tackle. That's why you're seeing a lot of times teams throw those little wide receiver screens on 3rd and long, because the defense is sitting back at sticks. And sometimes the safeties are sitting past the sticks. If we get a block here, we can basically make it to the sticks. So we have a competent offensive coordinator that knows how to pick their poison in the right situations. Unlike we had last year, we had an offensive play caller that didn't know situational football.
Fact. That's what I was saying, man.
We have an offensive coordinator. There's a difference between a play caller and a coordinator. This guy knows situational football. The other guy was still learning situational football. So I think that we're going to be better because we have an offensive coordinator. We have a Joe Brady type coordinator now in Alabama, something that we hadn't had since Sark. And I think that Grubb can do the same thing as Sark did at Alabama. Same type play caller, but I think Grubb just a little bit more aggressive than Sark.
Ooh. I don't know if I think Grubb is more aggressive than Sark, because one thing I do love about Sark.
I love Sark too.
Now this is something that when Truth is in here. So what's up, Truth? This is something Texas fans love and hate. At least the Texas fans I've talked to. Let me clear up. And yeah, Truth, y'all got a great defensive lineman. Dude's really talented. Hayes Fawcett didn't have Bama in the top 3 for him though. But like, good win for y'all. Real good win for y'all. And Trojan, Saban is right now at Alabama, but I don't think a lot of people outside the Bama fan base know this. DeBoer and a lot of the team are at a funeral. I'm not going to divulge a bunch of details because it's not my place. It is all over social media, but it's not my. They are at a funeral for a family member of a player. That's where I'll leave it. They support the player, and so Saban is there. Listen, that's in recruiting. You use whatever weapons you have. If Pete Carroll's willing to come back and kick it with the kids, you tell Pete Carroll, hey, come on in, kick it with the kids, because you're a legend here, right? Like you're a legend here. So let me get back on this, because Truth is in here. He's a Texas fan. I'm not going to speak for all Texas fans, but what a lot of Texas fans that I see and I talk to, the one thing they really love about Sark is also kind of a double-edged sword in that he will get a lead and he's still attacking in a way that is risky per se, instead of kind of playing it a bit safer. Sark lives by the sword, dies by the sword. I love that about him. Like, Sark is going to attack you all the way, whether he has a big lead. Like, that's just what he does. He lives by that sword. He dies by that sword. Now, I do agree with you. They're different play callers, but I think a lot of the basic theory, right? Like, the basic theory behind what they want to accomplish is the same. It's the difference of, I'm going to take a trip. Coach Sean is going to take a trip. He goes by train. I go by car. We get there around the same time. We got to the same destination, different modes of getting there, right? Like, I think that's kind of how I view them. And I'm excited to see what Grubb does with Alabama. I'm certainly happy with the offensive mind that Alabama has with both Grubb and DeBoer. So it's going to be fascinating to see, because it's just, he doesn't let off the gas, Truth. But I love that about Sark. Like, I love that about him. And before I pass it back, Coach Sean, Coach Carl, one of the greatest illustrations of what I mean when I say foundational play calling, if you're an Alabama fan, I get it, right? Some people don't like talking about other teams. So what I'll tell you is go back to 2020 and watch Sark play call for Alabama.
Facts.
And watch the way he's lulling these guys to sleep. He would run a very similar formation over and over and over again and do 3 or 4 different things out of it. One of my favorite examples is, do y'all remember where we used to run that screen where Devontae Smith would block and he would get it to Waddle, and we'd do that again and again and again. And about the 4th or 5th time Sark would call that, the defense would have been keyed in. They're like, okay, Devontae Smith is going to step up and block, so we're just going to crash down. Both the corner and the safety over top, or the nickel, or whoever's accounting, we're both going to crash in. Well, on that 4th or 5th time, Devontae Smith fakes the block, and he's streaking down the field, and Mac Jones is just going, boop, right over top, easy touchdown. And the defense is sitting there saying, well, shit, we thought we had this perfect. We timed it. We knew the look. That's what I mean when I say foundational play calling. If you don't want to go watch Sark at Texas, go watch 2020. And that's a beautiful example of foundational play calling. There's a reason why I made a video. When Sark is in his bag, my God, it is such enjoyable football to watch.
Yeah, you got a question right here, Ty. Anthony is asking you, says, Ty, do you think it also helps Grubb that before he came back to college, he was an assistant play caller with the Chiefs for a couple of seasons?
He was with the Seahawks, Anthony.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chiefs. What? When?
No, he's been
Seahawks.
with South Dakota, Sioux Falls, Eastern Michigan, Fresno State, Washington, Seattle, and Bama.
Facts.
I mean, technically, Washington, Bama, Seattle,
Bama, then Seattle.
but you get the point.
And then Trav Panir says, "Around the table sports, what you smoking on?"
Oh, so I hit him up in the comments. This is a Plasencia Almafuerte hex press. So, most of your cigars are round or they're box press, which means they're a little bit more squared. The hex press, they're literally pressed into hexagons. Yeah, if you're ever thinking, hey, I'm going to enjoy a cigar, you can't go wrong with Plasencia. I really do think they make the best New World cigars in the world.
Facts, man. Last topic we're going to talk about, really, give me your, wait a minute. Coach, how was it? What's up, Nate? How you doing, my brother? Roll Tide to you, man. How will that post corner work against FSU play single?
They're cooked
a lot. I mean, and he knows this. He's a coach too. He knows. He might be want me to answer. I mean, he knows I love post corner, so he trying to be funny. You know what I mean? I he know that get my juice. Well, I don't got no damn juices, but that get my interest going when you talk about that. I mean, Nate, you already know, bro. But to those that don't know, I mean, simple. It's Florida State. They do play a lot of single high safety. Well, they did last year. You know what I mean? They really weren't very good against the run, so they play a lot of single high safety. It's rather easy if they go to single high safety, and our slot receiver is basically taking his vertical stem 8 to 12 yards, vertical stem. Reading the reaction of the safety. That's what it's for. 8 to 12 yard, read the reaction of the safety. If the safety if he breaks it to the post and that safety closes distance, right, then he'll break for the corner, right? If the safety does not break and close speed, then you go ahead and throw the post. So it's really an unstoppable route, man. That's just putting it in basic terms, right? Vertical stem, straight to the post. Safety closes speed, you break to the corner. Safety don't close speed and stay back, you go ahead and throw the post. You go ahead and throw the post route because he's on your backside, not your front.
It's an option route.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love it to death based off what the safety. So you just pretty much reading the safety. You attacking him is what you're doing. You attacking that safety.
And Florida State don't have a proven safety right now, so
facts.
That's the bigger issue.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? You're just attacking him, corner. I mean, it's several different ways to run those type of routes. But I really enjoy picking on safeties, especially when they're in single high safety. It's a lot of things you can do with our receivers when a team is caught in single high safety. It's a lot of things we can do, man. The playbook is very much wide open, especially if you're in the middle of the field. It's a lot of things you can do, man. Attack us and play that kind of defense at your own risk. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like you were saying earlier, Coach Sean, about Ryan breaking all routes or running routes too deep. Remember last year, he'll be running the post and he'll read the safety and then he'll break the route off.
He'll break the route, yeah.
And Jalen will throw in the routes. So like,
man.
If you got a wide receiver that smart, he can read the safety before the quarterback reads the safety. That's tell you something about that kid. He will break the route off and he'll be wide open, but Jalen will throw in the routes.
Give him the ball.
Yeah, he was just throwing routes like boom. I know I gotta throw this post, so I'm gonna throw this post. He will cut the post off 5 yards and have 20 yards of space in between.
Facts.
And then you were just throwing the ball down to the post. No, man. In the NFL, they give wide receiver the choice routes like that. Most of the routes in the NFL are choice routes, and the quarterback finds the spots. Like we throwing the ball to a spot in the NFL. We're not throwing the ball to, throwing the route, because Pat Mahomes, the master, is just going out there and just winging it. Like, you find the open hole, I'm gonna get it there to you. So that's basically what we're doing, man. And we gotta get to that. We gotta get to that point in college football where our quarterbacks are that smart. You know that, boom. Okay, the safety just dropped it and just came down and took the post. So let me throw it underneath. Let me throw this back shoulder throw. Let me throw this underneath route. Because the safety killed the post. Or boom. So I see the safety coming out. Let me throw this post corner. Because I see the safety just took the post. Let's hit this corner. And a lot of quarterbacks in college football right now ain't that smart.
And remember this, man, in college football, when your receivers lined up across from that cornerback, a lot of these corners, man, especially if you beating them on outside plays like sideline routes, if you beating them once or twice, you know what I mean, or you know, if you beat them to the inside, they're gonna bite. College corners bite. So when that receiver release off and he's pushing vertical stem and he hit to the post, right? They're gonna jump it. He's gonna jump it. Safety gonna jump it, and he back to the corner, right? So that's why I like that route, because in high school it's easy to complete. If you got a good receiver and a decent quarterback, you could really throw that all day long. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what team you play. Shout out to Lisa Fitzhugh. That's my girl, man. That's my homie right there. It's Roll Tide forever. Love Lisa, because if you ever see Lisa on Twitter, boy, she be putting lashes to people's asses, bro. No lie. She be putting belt to ass on everybody that wants some, right? Shout out to Lisa, man. $10 super chat. Great dialogue tonight. Excuse me. Gotta jump off now. Roll Tide, gentlemen, and all. Man, shout out to you, Lisa. Love you to death. Thank you so very much. It's so good to see you. Roll Tide to you and your family. Tell your family I said what's up, and Roll Tide for sure, for sure. Last question, guys. Ask you a quick question. Ty Hayes, I need to know. Me and Coach Carr talked a little bit about it behind the scenes. I need to know and put you on the spot. I need to know. Give me your teams in the SEC. It could be 2, it could be 3, hell, it could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 1. Give me your teams in the SEC, Ty, who have a realistic chance of making the college football playoff.
Good question.
Realistic shot.
And we'll just sit back and wait on Ty, because this is
yeah, facts. I would almost say 3 games. If you lose 3 games, you may or may not be done. I don't know. That's why that's the question. Give me your teams who you think has a realistic shot at making it this coming up football season.
I think there's a few. Obviously, I'm going to start with the homer in me.
Thanks.
I think Bama could. Bama's defense returns a whole lot. I think Bama's secondary is one of the best in the nation.
Facts.
I think they're going to be competing for that number 1 spot with a few other teams, right? Like, that's not to say that, there's some really talented secondaries out there. I just think that Bama, when you look at it, like, Bray Hubbard was such a bright spot. You return Keon Sabb, you return your 2 outside corners, you still have Day Jones there, able to operate. Red Morgan is still there. You recruited really well. I mean, it's just that's a bright spot. And the secondary last year was like, I think they were 10th in the nation in passing efficiency defense, even though they were so young. And Bama didn't have a pass rush. So if Bama has a pass rush, that's going to be interesting. Texas is fascinating because there's a lot of talent on Texas that I love, right? I think that their running back they have, Wisner, is maybe the best in the SEC. That kid's great. That kid is so good. Truth, y'all secondary is one that I was also thinking about, right? That I think that there's a lot of talent there. Very excited about it. I mean, going to be really interesting. Very interested to see what your offensive line does. And I don't mean to say that as in I think your offensive line is going to be bad. It's how quickly do you respond to the change? Luckily, those guys got a fair amount of snaps. I think that's something that's under talked about when we talk about Texas's offensive line and what they replaced is they do have guys that have some snaps. They have some rep counts, so that's going to help that transition. I think Texas is one. I don't think Auburn is one, JB. I don't. I think Auburn still has a lot of problems. LSU, right? Like they return Nuss. I'm worried about how LSU is going to replace some of the pieces on the offensive line. I think their defense is going to be better. I don't think it's going to be top 20 in college football. I'd love to be wrong on that. I just don't think they're going to be. They still don't know what to do with Harold Perkins. Like there's just so much I have questions about with LSU. South Carolina's interesting, but guys, I think South Carolina might be the exact same team they were last year, which is still a really good team, but I don't know that they're going to be I don't know. That's another one where if I'm wrong, by all means, clip this. And at the end of the season, I will come to you, tell you why I was wrong, and give all the props in the world. I'd love to see South Carolina do it. And Truth, you beat me to it, man. There's one that I don't think we're talking about, and I get why. Oklahoma is going to be interesting. And y'all know I do have a lot of respect for Oklahoma, so I know you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, Ty's talking about Oklahoma. He talks about Oklahoma. He makes OU content along with some of the Bama and other teams. But, gentlemen, OU last year was terrible in some games because they had an injury list that was unbelievably long. They don't have that this year. And Sports Masochist, you're not wrong, but part of the reason why OU's secondary was questionable is because their best guys went down. Like they were so hurt in the cornerback room that they moved a wide receiver over, or maybe I have that vice versa, but that's just giving you the point of how injured they were. Offensive line banged up, couldn't decide on a quarterback, terrible offensive coordinator. Now they have Ben Arbuckle, who comes with John Mateer. They're familiar with each other. If Mateer is the guy that many think he could be, and I think he's very good, he's a dynamic guy. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's a talented guy. Oklahoma on defense, I know they lose Danny Stutzman. That linebacker room is still very good. Very, very good, right? Like you look at Kip Lewis, you look at Samuel Omashigo, you look at some of the guys they have there, it's still a good linebacker room. And I think that you have some guys on the edge for them, that this is a year where they can absolutely take that next step and be some pivotal guys on the edge. So I think there's a few teams. I think that when I'm looking at this, OU and South Carolina are kind of on the fringe for me because I just have to see. I don't know what Ben Arbuckle is going to look like in the SEC. I don't think he's going to be bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to see it. I think the defense for OU is going to be great. I think South Carolina is still going to be a hard out for everybody. It's going to be a tough game. I'm interested in how they're going to account for teams being able to target Dylan Stewart more because they don't have Tonka Hemingway on the interior anymore, and they don't have Kyle Kennard on the other side, making it impossible to double Dylan Stewart. This year you can double Dylan Stewart. Last year you couldn't because you had so much else. I think Texas, Bama, LSU are three that I'm really looking at. And I'll tell y'all one other. Not to watch for playoffs, but just you want to talk about who I think could take here, not a team, but I'm going to give you a player. Watch out for that quarterback at Ole Miss, Austin Simmons. When he came in last year for Jackson Dart, I thought he was better than Jackson Dart. And he's still young. That kid's got game, man. I'm so excited to watch him play.
Right.
Georgia is Georgia, right? But Georgia obviously is in the playoff picture. That just lets you know how consistent they are when I'm answering this question and Georgia didn't even come to mind because I'm almost like, okay, yeah, they're going to be vying for it.
Yeah.
So Georgia, Texas, Bama, LSU, I think are the four that I'm really looking at. And then I have OU, South Carolina as kind of like fringe teams that I think there's a lot to like. There's some questions I have, and I'm excited to see it.
Okay. All right, Coach Carp. Well, we ask you, Piano Man, so you can get your list ready. I asked Coach Carphin to go. I'm asking the fellas, what teams could be 1, could be 2, 3, 4. What teams do you have that have a realistic, that's the key word, a realistic chance in making the college football playoff? Coach Carr, you go ahead. Think about it, Piano Man. Go ahead, Coach Carr.
I said the same thing, man. Ty took my 4, like literally. But my order is like Georgia first because Georgia only have 3 tough teams. Like 3 tough teams on their schedule they have to play. So listen, Alabama, Florida, and shit, I forgot what one they had, but it was in Texas.
Is it not? Texas.
Texas. They only had 3 legitimate tough teams on their schedule that they could lose a game, right? So I looked at Georgia, I think Georgia beat Florida. Until Florida beat them, I'm just always gonna take Georgia over Florida. So I'm taking Georgia 10-2 because I think Bama gonna beat them because they're not gonna know what coming from Ryan Groves, and I think Texas may sneak in there and beat them. It's gonna be a toss up between them and Texas. So I think they're 11-1, 10-2 because I think Texas has an opportunity to beat them at the same token in Alabama, right? So Georgia was the first team. My second team was Bama because Bama had a chance to lose 3 games. LSU, Georgia, and I think the possibility of losing Auburn down in Iowa. So Bama has a shot. I think the 3 games they lost last year, they'll bounce back because they'll be personal. So the kids will take it more seriously. When it comes down to Texas has the easiest schedule in the country. Outside of going to Ohio State, everything is geared up to them for Texas to just walk through the SEC again. It's just easy. Only team they got to play that's I think that's going to be hard is the last game of the year, which is going to be at Texas A&M. I think Reed gonna come in Texas State and ready to ball out. They got a chance slipping over that Tennessee against Kiffin, and Kiffin will be my 5th team. Like Ole Miss will be my 5th on the fringe team because of quarterback situation, like Ty just talked about with Simmons. And of course, man, LSU. But I don't think LSU gonna win that many games. I honestly don't. But they have the team coming back offensively, the team to come back to compete for SEC championship with the team that they have coming back. The defensive end with those defensive back, they have 2 defensive back that's rated in 2nd and 3rd round in the NFL draft. 2 corners exactly. I think they got a 5th round safety. They still got Harry Perkins. He was a 1st round draft pick. I think they have a 1st round D tackle. So they have some kids that rated high on defense in the NFL draft rating. So I think that LSU are formally going to be decent, but you really don't know because it's a Brian Kelly's team. They can come out there and beat the crap out of Ohio State and then the next week wet the bed against Louisiana Monroe. You never know about a Brian Kelly's team. So LSU is formidable, but I really don't trust them. So my 3 locks that I'm thinking my 3 locks would be Georgia, Texas, Alabama in that order. And the reason why I say in that order because Georgia has an easy schedule, Texas has an easy schedule, and Bama has a tough one. LSU's schedule is probably tougher than ours, man. You gotta come to Alabama, and if you lost 2 games and you come to Alabama to get beat, you're already 9-3 with a time, and then you got to play the last game against Texas A&M with that super fast Marcel Reed as quarterback. It's all different type things. So they can easily go, man, 8-4 at LSU easily. And I don't want to count out Florida because even though Florida has a tough schedule, if DJ Ladway is healthy, Florida may just be that team that sneaks in there and just destroy everybody.
All right. I like it, man. You know what I mean? Piano Man, you ready? I got mine, but I need to hear yours. Who do you feel has a realistic chance to really, for real, this coming up season to make this college football playoff?
First of all, Coach, thank you for having me, but forgive me for being late.
Always, brother.
What happened today?
Hey, congratulations too. Hold on. Piano Man, anytime you can graduate from anything, anytime you can put the work in and graduate from it and get recognized for it is a blessing, man. Congratulations, brother, Piano Man. Good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
Yes,
One month, Piano. I'm 1 month behind you, baby. 1 month.
Hey, I still have 1 more to go, though, Coach. So I got to get with you. I'm going to need some help. This one was from theology. I'm still working on the criminal justice. And so me and you got to get together, dog. So I got 1 more to go, and then I'm going to chill out. But now on to what Coach Sean has asked. I'm going to go with everything that both Ty and Coach Carl said. But I've got one team, and I've been harping on this team from ever since I found out they've got 8 starters on offense coming back, 7 on defense coming back. Y'all already know who it is, Texas A&M. And here's the reason I'm putting them in. They may not make the playoffs, but they can also stop somebody else from going. That's the part that I'm looking at. That they're one of those teams, like Ty said, was talking about Ole Miss. And that quarterback, I'm with you, Ty. Austin Simmons, that dude cold-blooded. Because they didn't even have to bring Jackson Dart back in the game last year against Georgia because he was going up and down the field on Georgia in the rain. That's what was getting to me. But back to mine, what I'm saying is this. Texas A&M is one of those teams that could pull a rabbit out the hat at any time against anybody that they play. It really doesn't matter to them because they have the mentality, I don't have anything to lose because I'm already picked to lose anyway. So looking at their schedule right quick, here we go.
Are you of the mindset that Texas A&M could potentially win 10 games, maybe?
Yes, they could. I'm at that mindset that they could win 10, but then they could also lose like 3 or 4, something of that nature, because they could, like Coach Carl just said, they'll come out there and let's say for instance, I'm looking at the schedule. Let's say, for instance, they come out and beat Florida, but then they'll turn around and lose to Samford, somebody that they're supposed to beat because now they've gotten too laxed and whatever. But their schedule is kind of, well, y'all tell me what you think. They start up with University of Texas or San Antonio. They play Utah State, and then they go to Notre Dame. That's going to be their first test of the season. They're going Notre Dame 2-0, and then that's going to be their first test. If they can pull that one out, you might want to go ahead and start taking them serious. It won't be until you get on down the line in SEC play until you figure out or you see how tough they are. So, so here we go. They play Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home, Florida at home. Then they go to Arkansas. They go to LSU. They go to Missouri. That's going to be, to me, where it, all that good stuff. And then they end with Texas. So Texas A&M is still going to be my dark horse. All the others that Coach Carl, Ty said, I'm with y'all on that one. Texas A&M has a realistic shot. Not that others don't, but that's the one that I'm hung up on, and I'm going to be watching them real close.
Okay, I like
Coach,
it.
did you say they go to Arkansas? What was that stretch again? Give me that stretch one more time if you don't mind.
Sure, I don't mind. They start off at University of Texas at San Antonio. They play at home. They play Utah State at home. They go to Notre Dame. They have Auburn, Mississippi State, and Florida at home. And then they go to Arkansas, LSU, and Missouri on the road.
That's going to be a fun stretch of games, man. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's murder's
that could go really, really well.
And really, really bad.
Really, really bad.
Really, really bad. That's why I said that's why I'm watching them, because that's one of those schedules that can go to the left or to the right. It doesn't matter. Those 3 games right there, that's what's gonna make or break Texas A&M right there. Yeah. And then after that, Coach Sean,
it's gonna start with Auburn with top 5 draft pick and carry the fall. Monster.
See, and then they play South Carolina, then Samford. They have those 2 at home, and then they go to Texas.
That's tough, man. Shout out to Ebony. Ebony, what's up, girl? Seen you in a minute, man. What's up? Straighten up and fly right here.
Thank you, Ebony. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to E, man. So I love it, man. I love it, man. Y'all boys make it hard, bro. Golly. I love it, man. Y'all making some of the best points ever, man. I ain't really much I can say, but mine's a little different. I think Texas is gonna make it for sheer fact that now their schedule just ain't but easy. I mean, they still got to play Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, and Texas A&M.
And Vandy's no walk in the park.
And Vandy's no walk in the park. Fact, right? But compared to other SEC squads, it is a little. Look, if you think that's hard, look at Oklahoma squad. They got a. When you really look at it.
Now, Coach Sean, the one thing I do want to say, because there are going to be Texas fans see this, and before you type down there, I do want to give y'all a caveat. You want to know the difference between Sark and DeBoer first year in the SEC? Sark understood that the SEC was a week-to-week grind.
He coached in it before. Facts.
Yeah, he comes from the SEC. Yeah,
he knew what the SEC was, and he's like, okay, yeah, we can say but we still have Kentucky, we still have Vandy, we still have this, we still have that. He was prepared for the week-to-week grind.
Facts.
Bama learned the hard way. Hats off to you, because that's part of what the SEC, like, you got to be prepared for that week-to-week grind, and he was. He had them boys ready to play.
I think it was Ty who said this, Sark got a 2-year head start to recruit for the grind of the SEC. He even said it. Sark said the SEC is a trench warfare league. So he got an opportunity to recruit that type of kid, big body kids going into the league. He knew his team was going to be in SEC in 2 years, a year, whatever it was. So he had an opportunity to recruit to that, man. So mine's a little different. Same teams, but different reasons. Obviously, like Ty said, I'm going with my home team first. I think Bama is going to win 9 to 10 games, and I think this will be our year to get back into the college football playoff. I think Georgia has a good enough team to still get in the college football playoff. I know a lot of people are down on Gunnar Stockton, and he's not flashy, but I watched that kid in his first start beat Texas, bro. I mean, I know it's 100 reasons why, but I don't think every quarterback could have done that. I don't think every quarterback could have took the hit that quarterback took. That team played for Gunnar. If you saw how they reacted when Gunnar got hit, you'll know that's what football is about. When a team react to you the way they did. He made his mistakes, but I saw a kid throw for like 250. He's not super talented like that. He ain't got no cannon for an arm, but he does everything that Mike Bobo requests, which is not much. I think Gunnar Stockton's gonna fit right in with them guys. I just do. I mean, I think Georgia not going anywhere. They have recruited too well to fall off, man. Some of the kids they got, I wish we had. No lie, I won't lie to you. Those guys have recruited well. I don't see them losing no. I've seen 3, 4. I just don't see it, brother. I just don't see it. You know, Texas, because Texas got Ohio State, they got Florida, they got Georgia at home, but they got Georgia at home, they got Texas A&M at home, they got Florida on the road, and they have Ohio State on the road. Other than that, their first 3 or 4 games is like Sam Houston, Southeastern Louisiana. They got a lot of weeks to rest, bro. And that's why I said their schedule is a lot easier than a lot of SEC teams. No disrespect to Texas. I mean, you can only play the schedule you have, but they have a lot of weeks that they can really, really rest. If you look at all these other teams, they just do not have it. So I have Georgia, I have Texas, I have Bama. With Oklahoma, I just don't know how this quarterback should be great. He was great before he got there. If this quarterback plays well, Oklahoma could win 10 games easily. Right? I just don't know. Same with Texas. I don't know about Arch Manning. I hear everybody talking about the Manning and all this. I'm only putting them in because of their schedule. To me, is significantly more easy than the schedule that Oklahoma has to play. So I'm going with Texas, Georgia, Bama. And for me, I think this team's going to win 10 games. I do. I hear y'all. I just believe, man, when you have a returning quarterback as good as this QB, you're going to win some games that you
He's going South Carolina.
I'm not. I'm going LSU. I think LSU, because when I look at LSU's schedule, they got to open up with Clemson. That's going to set the tone to the season, right? You can't lose 2 or 3 other games if you're going to lose that one, right? It's at Clemson. These guys open up with Clemson. That's going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy game, as we all know. When you look at the Florida game, it's at home. The South Carolina game, it's at home. The Texas A&M game, it's at home. The Arkansas game, it's at home. The only game they're really going to be in jeopardy is Ole Miss. They play Ole Miss on the road. All these other games that they have is in Baton Rouge. And if LSU is winning, Baton Rouge is one of the most dangerous places you can play when that team is hot and winning. Again, they got Florida at home. They got Ole Miss on the road. South Carolina at home. LSU at home. Now we got Bama on the road. We got Bama at Bama. They'll play on the road against us, but they got Arkansas at home. So they have a lot of home. They could actually lose to Bama, lose to Clemson, and still make the playoffs, I believe. I just believe with all those home games they have, I don't see them losing 4 of those. I just don't. I can't pick 4 that I can see them losing. Arkansas is at home. Texas A&M at home. South Carolina at home. Florida's on the road, and Clemson's in Clemson. Alabama's on the road. I'm not speaking for us. They're going to lose to us. I don't care what they say. They're going to lose to us. But when you look at their schedule, who else are they going to lose to? Are they going to lose at home to Florida, on the road to Florida? I just don't know, man. Florida got replaced 3 or 4 offensive linemen. I just don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm not sure how DJ Lagway is with the shoulder, and that's a kind of early in the season game. I just believe this will be the year that LSU win 10 games. I think if LSU win 9 or 10 games, they may have a potential invitation to the college football playoffs. I'm going with Texas, Georgia, Bama, and I think LSU. I'm not sold on Texas A&M right now because I'm not sold on the young quarterback for real. He's super talented, but I'm not sold on him just yet. Ole Miss is going to play well, but I think Ole Miss lost a lot of people on defense. Their defense wasn't very good last year. OU, stout defense, right? Don't know what they're going to do on offense yet. Just don't know. I know what Garrett Nussmeier is going to do. That kid gonna sling that thing. They got great receivers. It don't even matter who playing running back. Defense will be young and middle of the road as they have been for the last 3 or 4 years. I just don't know if they're gonna lose three or 4 games, man. I just don't know this year. If they do, Brian Kelly will be on the hot seat.
Can I help your argument, Coach?
Yes, sir.
And then I'm gonna hurt it, but I'm gonna help it at first.
Right. Okay, cool, fair.
When you say you don't know when you talk about LSU and wide receivers, I don't care if they lose their whole wide receiver room. They're one of those teams where it's like, yeah, they're going to trot out guys. They have wide receivers for days. Facts. They just do. So that I completely agree with you. To help your case, Caden Durham's the running back.
Okay.
That kid is a threat wherever he gets the ball. This was a kid that ran like a sub 10 300-meter dash. Like when I say this kid has home run ability wherever he touches the ball, he's a threat. He is good. He's really an exciting player to watch. So I completely agree with you. I think the running back room is going to be good. The only area, and Link beat me to it, because Link, I said this earlier, I think LSU's defense is going to be better. I still don't think they're going to be great. And if Lagway is fully healthy, I think Lagway is going to run all over him. And I think that the running game for Florida is going to run all over him. But I could be wrong, right? Like, it's LSU. They're going to have good players. It's LSU.
The teams that scare me is the ones with the great the returning quarterbacks, man.
Completely fair.
Sportsman says he can't throw. Is that you talking about Lagway or Nussmeier? I'm not sure. Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards last year and almost 30 touchdowns. So
he could be talking about Reed, Sport Masochist.
Marcel Reed.
He could, because his comment came at a weird time.
I don't know.
In the middle of a few different quarterback conversations. So,
Facts.
Yeah, he's talking about Reed.
Okay, Marcel Reed. Yeah, I watched him play, man. Yeah. He's great with his feet and all of that, but I watched when Texas finally started going zone and switching up between man and zone. That's how they end up getting out of there alive. He couldn't, he's
just young. He wasn't reading. He wasn't reading defenses. Like he get stuck between man and zone. He didn't know which was what. That's why it's not the fact that he can't pass the ball. He's just young and he couldn't read the defense at that point.
I can tell you this really quickly. LSU, I'm not even really looking for their defense to be too great. I think both of y'all are right on that point. I just know when you got a returning quarterback that can sling it all over the field like that, that sometimes cures ills. You know what I'm saying? Not all the time. But I know in college football, not pros, but college, the more points you can score, the better, right? I would almost take a top-flight quarterback in a mediocre defense rather than a terrible quarterback and a great defense in college football. I would.
I think you're wrong. Can I do the same thing again? Help your argument, hurt your
yes,
argument. So to help your argument, I was just sitting here and it just like I had the light bulb go off. We know who LSU's wide receivers are going to be. It just hit me. Barrion Brown,
yeah.
Nick Anderson, who transferred from OU, who should be healthy, Aaron Anderson, who transferred from Bama.
Bama.
Like, just in those three right there, if all of them are healthy, I'm looking like, damn.
They were
Damn.
two 5 stars on a 4-star.
and Barian Brown is a home run guy, right?
And to Link's credit, he do throw a lot of picks because most gunslingers do, right?
Yeah.
But look at the games where he threw for over 300, right? So, and he got another year, so he gonna be smarter with the football. He's gonna have another year of experience. He got a crazy receiving core. I just think LSU is primed to win 10 games this year. And if they don't win 10 games, I can promise you'll start hearing the rumblings to get Brian Kelly's ass out of there.
They're going to be gone.
My second biggest question with LSU, first is defense, because their defense was terrible last year.
Facts.
And when I say terrible, like I'm not even going to lie. I didn't get to research anything before I came on here. We just came on, started talking. This is all table talk, right? So I don't know where they ranked. If someone in chat happens to know, please, if you don't mind, shoot that, much appreciated. But by LSU standards, their defense was terrible.
Yeah.
LSU is a team that you should wake up in the morning and expect a top 30 defense in college football. You're LSU, damn it.
Yeah, that's LSU.
Right? Like, that's how I think Bama fans feel. Like, you should wake up in the morning and expect a top 30 defense. You're Bama, damn it. There's just certain teams that operate like that. They've just been defensive teams for so long. But the offensive line, Coach.
There you go.
Like, you lose Campbell. Is their offensive line going to be able to be as good as it was for Nuss this year? That's the big question offensively I have for LSU.
I think running that West Coast offense, they don't really have to be great. I think getting at those quick hitters. I know in total defense, I'm looking up just total. I saw what it said 31st. Hold on, let me make sure that's correct. I just know they were 11th in the SEC, which is terrible, right? Out of 14 teams. Terrible. And they still won.
LSU, that's god awful.
What was their record last year? What was LSU record last year?
But you got to think about LSU, though, Coach Sean, Piano. That's still LSU, man. They have a terrible defense one year, and next year to come out and have top 10 defense. I mean, that's LSU. Those kids in that bayou down there, man. Once they get into their system, man, start hanging out in the streets right across the street and the projects at Baton Rouge, it's a different type of atmosphere you put in those kids, man. Those kids are rugged. They come to fight. So I mean, I think with Brian Kelly keeping those kids inside of the facility, not letting them mingle around much outside of Baton Rouge, got them a little soft, kind of like was on the back end of Saban, man. You know, they got a little soft. They didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of hanging out, so they got a little timid, got a little soft. I think they're a little soft right now, but if they get back into the LSU mentality, man, the talent is there. The football mentality is there. The IQ is there. It's just that Brian Kelly's a little soft, and it's like depends on who your head coach is. If your head coach is soft, your team is soft. So Brian Kelly's soft, and the team is soft right now.
So they was the same as Bama, 9-3, then plus that bowl game, 9-4. So they lost 3 regular season games, 1 bowl game, I guess 3 regular season games, and their defense was god awful, worse than ours, right? I think this year, if they defense just play a little better, they'll win 10 games. I believe that. Yeah. With that quarterback.
They got the team quarterback to win 10 games.
I don't think Florida's going to beat them at Florida. I don't think Florida's going to be able to score enough. And you talk about offensive line. Look how many people Florida replacing on the offensive line. That whole left side, whole right side.
Fair. Yeah, fair. Very fair.
On the road at Ole Miss might be tough for them. At Alabama, going to be tough for them. South Carolina is in LSU. Texas A&M is in LSU. Arkansas is in LSU. I just don't know if I see 4 losses on there. I can see possibly 3 if Clemson beat them, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to lose to Clemson. I think Clemson going to be that team that beats them. That's going to be – I mean, it's hard to go in the Death Valley and beat Clemson. So I think
and Trojan made a really good point earlier. Trojan fighting here, our USC fan. Shout out, Trojan. your USC Trojans are looking really damn good on that recruiting trail. Y'all made some great hires. You know how I feel about that. But he made a really good point. LSU has been losing season openers like it's the hottest new thing.
Yep.
So I think they're going to lose to Clemson. Gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I think they're going to be tough games. I think they might lose to South Carolina because you have to stop Lenoris Sellers. They couldn't stop Jalen Milroe last year. Lenoris Sellers is another hyper athletic.
That's facts.
Stopping him. And then you got Talon Green with Bobby Petrino out there in Arkansas.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another year with Petrino. Now, that's a kid who's real, I won't say green because his last name is Green, but he's very inexperienced. He's learning. Upside is crazy high, though. If he gets it together and he can stay healthy, that kid is explosive, really explosive. He's a threat to anybody they play because he just has that kind of ability. So I think I'm really interested in the Arkansas game. I think South Carolina gets them.
Think South Carolina get them? Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Arkansas almost beat them last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Green was fully healthy. I think he was playing pretty injured and was kind of compromised in being able to run.
And Coach, before you say anything else, I got to echo what Ty's saying. When you go back and you look at Arkansas, that dude Green gave Tennessee fits, and that's how they beat them.
Yeah.
He threw Tennessee's defense into a quandary, man. And then number two, you're talking about LSU and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Remember, that's gonna be sort of like a revenge game because South Carolina had those dudes beat, and those referees down the stretch called a play back. It would have put the game out of reach. It gave LSU the ball back. We know what happened there. So when you're talking about LSU, that's Clemson, South Carolina, and then another thing you talked about Bama. And then here's the other thing: every time they go to Ole Miss, they don't always come out to win.
They lose,
They lose at Ole Miss. And because the last time they played Ole Miss in Ole Miss with Jaden Daniels, Ole Miss beat them. So LSU gonna be one of those teams that it either could go to the left or it could go to the right. It's just gonna depend on how they play it and how their opponents play them. So be excited.
I think Nuss is gonna throw for 370 on them.
On who?
Yeah, but
I love this.
Arkansas, Ole Miss,
they
fight for that trophy too now. That LSU Arkansas trophy.
They come into Baton Rouge with them drunk cages. I think Nuss gonna throw for 370 on them. They may give up 50, but they gonna score 60.
Yeah,
you watch
that damn glowing pipe in the middle of the field.
Watch. I think Nuss finna go stupid on them teams, man, because I don't think Texas A&M or Ole Miss is gonna be able to score with them. They defense probably ain't gonna stop nobody. What else is new, right?
That's probably how LSU. I think Ole Miss can score though. It's gonna be Ole Miss. Ole Miss can score. I think Arkansas can score with Texas. I'm with LSU because they did it last year with less talent with all those young boys. So imagine a year experience. I think Arkansas did play with them.
Exactly. I think you're right.
Both of those are rivalry games too. Like that's just like us playing against Tennessee. You never know what happens.
Right.
I know this is going to ruffle some feathers. LSU might be, if not the most fun, the second most fun SEC debate in terms of how they're going to be this year.
Fact.
Because you can genuinely argue it. When you look at their schedule and you look at what they have, you can genuinely argue this with good faith conversations, good faith principled arguments, one way or the other. And this is coming from someone who put them in playoff contention as well, right? But this is such a fun debate because, Coach Sean, everything you're saying is right. No doubt about it. I can genuinely see LSU going, they're such an interesting team to talk about. I think Bama's kind of there too, in the sense that, Bama's got to prove it. But I also think Bama returning the secondary they do, returning the defensive line they do, Returning the linebackers, they do. You lose Jahad Campbell, but luckily Justin Jefferson's been getting that work, right? Like, it's not like – I'm going to make this comparison in that it's kind of like OU, where OU loses their premier inside linebacker, but they had a guy that was like in the fold, playing well, doing good. So you're like, oh yeah, they lose Stutzman. Oh yeah, you lose Jahad Campbell. You got these names right here. Oh, you got Justin Jefferson plus the guys behind him. Like, you have the things. LSU's such a fun and interesting team to think about. This is a really fun conversation.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Don't sleep on Justin Hill, because Justin Hill can beat out Justin Jefferson.
Well, they play two different positions.
Outside, inside. See, me, I don't link. I'm not as high as on Florida as y'all is. I'm just not as high on them. I mean, I think DJ Lagway played well at times, and at times he played like a young kid. If he's back, that's great, right? They have a good chance of being very good. I'm just not as high. You know, they got Damian George back from Alabama. They got what's that guard? Nehemiah Harris back, the center back. Everybody else is new on the offensive line. So I'm just not as high on Florida as most, right?
I love their wide receiver, Eugene Wilson.
Yeah, they got talent down there now. Don't get it wrong. I just know in college football, at the end of the day, is how much you can score. And I know LSU ain't gonna have a lot of problems scoring the football. So their defense is probably gonna be terrible, right? I don't even remember the last time they had a top LSU style defense. It wasn't last year, wasn't the year before. Even Jaden Daniels' days, they weren't very good, right?
Yeah, because
it's been a while.
They score so damn fast that the defense don't have time to heal.
True, very true. Very true. Their defenses hadn't been, I don't know,
even
man.
the Joe Burrow years.
Right.
Like, the defense wasn't what we come to expect.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow dropping 50 points a game, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow dropping 50 points a game, so the defense stayed on the field. Joe Burrow,
tell me this, because
they couldn't cover damn.
So tell me this, Coach Ty, Piano Man, because I hear this a lot. I mean, educate me, man. Coach Sean like to listen too now. Why is everybody so high on Florida?
DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
I think Lagway is a big one. And I also think, and I'm guilty of this too. And it's crazy that I'm guilty of this as well, because I have put forward this notion. And even though, I mean, we're all human, right? Like, you can acknowledge that something is true, but then when you really start looking, you almost forget what you believe to be a truth. And the truth I'm talking about is, I think we look at Florida's schedule and confuse the quality of team they're going to be, not with the actual quality that they have, but by the absolute gauntlet they play. Right. Okay. So I think when we look at Florida, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, they're not in contention because of the teams they play. It's such a tough schedule. And I think that subconsciously, whenever we make that argument, it's easy to fall in line with being like, oh yeah, Florida's not in contention, they're just mid. But they're not like, if they're mid, they're not going to be mid because it's a bad team. They're going to be mid because it's like murderer's row. Of schedule. So I think that's kind of the thing with Florida that a lot of people fall victim to, including myself. I think they're a solid team. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But like, I do think they're going to be a fun team to watch. That's at least my reason. I'm excited to hear Piano Man.
That very point that Ty made, and you guys said DJ Lagway, right? I'm making the same point for LSU, for the Garrett Nussmeier. I've seen him do it, right? So I'm just a pessimist by nature, bro. You know what I mean? You got to show me. I have to see it, bro. You know, I have to see it. I have not seen Peyton Manning's nephew. I have not seen Ty Simpson.
I'm right here.
I seen DJ Lagway a few games. I ain't seen him play a full season yet. So I don't know how they're going to play, right? it looks good, but I promise you, everything that look good don't win college football, bro. I gotta see it, bro. I'm not saying they can't, like Frightening Truth. Please don't think I'm saying he's not gonna be good. I just have to see him play. I need to see him play a full season, and I'll tell you, yes, you were right, Truth. Or I have to see these people play, bro, because football is the one sport to where you can have everything look good on paper. I mean, it looks great, everything, and you get out there and it go totally opposite of how you think it's gonna go for the most ridiculous reasons. So I like to stick with what I've seen until further notice, right? I'm just trying to educate myself on why is people so high on Florida. Let's see. Link says Florida will make the playoff. That's my door course. Okay, I respect it. I respect it. I respect it, Link.
Big boy.
And Coach, one other thing about Florida is how they played Georgia, how they lost to Georgia in the, and Georgia, let's just go ahead and be honest, Georgia SEC champs, Georgia is a formidable opponent, but when you play Georgia the way that you played them and you're supposed to be getting blown out by them last year, and when Lagway went out, that's when the wheels fell off right there. I think that's the other reason why people are high on, part of the reason people are high on on Florida is because of the potential of them possibly beating a Georgia like that. So that could be one of the reasons. I'm not saying it is, but that's one of the things that I
hear that a lot.
Because of how they played Georgia with the murderous schedule. But when you sit down and you look at their schedule, now, just in my opinion, that schedule is really not all that murderous from SEC standpoint. I seen tough.
I'm like this, Piano. If Florida had a quarterback 3 years ago, Florida been formidable right now. I mean, the reason why they ain't formidable, it's not that they don't have talent, they just didn't have a quarterback. A quarterback been killing Florida. It's not the talent, it's just the quarterback. Right. So they have dudes at Florida. They just didn't have a quarterback. Now they have a quarterback. So that's what so many people are ecstatic about is the quarterback.
Is that Coach I? Coach I, what up, bro? What's going on with you, Coach I? That's what I'm asking, Coach I. Like, I'm just trying to find out. Because what if I told you this? That was Georgia's youngest defensive team overall they had in 5 years. What if I told you that? What if I told you that was probably the weakest Georgia team you're going to see in recent memory? Memory. What if I told you that if you didn't get them then, bruh, you know what I'm saying? No quarterback, the quarterback in and out. What if I told you that team? I don't know, man. I just see it differently. I'm not high on Florida.
Now, me, honestly, Coach Sean, I think this is the year to get Georgia. If you're gonna jump on Georgia, this is the year with a new quarterback. You jump on them this year. They lost Malachi Starks on defense. They still got KJ Bolden, but they still lost Malachi Starks on the back end, their leader, and they lost quarterback. So you got new leaders on the back end, new leaders in the backfield. This is the year I think you jump on Georgia. You can't beat them this year. You're gonna catch hell next year. I mean, it's different next year.
Like I said, I think when you look at Florida, I think that it's going to be in the middle. I think they're going to be better than some people expect.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to I think Link's prediction is awesome. I'm not in the same boat. I don't have them as a playoff team. I love that he's making that prediction though, Link. I love that. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people expect Florida to be, but I don't think they're going to be like a world beater. That's why I didn't list them in my playoff contenders.
Facts.
And the thing about that, Ty, what I really want everybody to understand is Florida is kind of like Alabama, Ohio State, USC's, Texas of the world, the Michigans. If Florida is good, whole college football is good. Like everybody hoping that Florida is good, like everybody hoping that USC is good, because those are traditional powers. And once all the traditional powers are good, then the college football is exciting. You don't want to just show up to have Florida on damn TV playing against Ole Miss and everybody say, well, Ole Miss going to beat Florida by 30, so everybody tuning in. You want to tune in to a Florida Gators game again. So, like, I mean, that's why I think everybody high on Florida because everybody wants Florida to be back again. Kind of like everybody like Texas want to be back. Everybody wants Florida to be back again. Everybody wants Florida, Miami, and Florida State to be good because those are the southern teams down that way that was dominating college football for years.
So Sooner Cowboy says Georgia don't have the elite defensive front to play dominant defense. All I tell you is this, bro. Xavier McLeod back. Jordan Hall back. They got a freshman who I hadn't seen him play yet, but he is the best defensive line freshman I've seen since Quentin Williams. His name is Elijah Griffin. He's a killer. I would want him at Bama bad, right? Can play the 3, can play the 5, can play the 4-eye. This kid, he can do it all,
Thank
bro.
God they didn't get Justice Terry with
exactly
Griffin.
with him. So I respectfully disagree. Teams have years where the defensive line is younger than other teams, right? You playing 2 young kids in very key spots, you struggle a little bit. When these kids come back the next year, you see the progression. I'll never say they don't have a defensive lineman. It's just Link said they 8-4. Link crazy.
Hey, I love bold predictions. So
this will be the year. This will be the year. It'll be the year. But you look at Griffin and you look at Mason Graham's freshman year at Michigan. Man, it could easily be the same turnout, Coach Sean.
Yeah, it is.
It's easy to be the same turnout.
That's facts. That's facts, man. So listen, guys, we've been going about 2.5 hours rolling. And look, Coach, please don't think that was me say that. I'm totally different. Look what he said. And this was kind of my point when we was talking the other night. All that stuff y'all said was wrong with Georgia. And guess what? They still won the SEC, man. Right?
They still beat Texas twice.
So
beat them twice.
Bruh,
beating Sark twice is not easy. In the same year, like
it's facts.
That's not easy.
With 2 different quarterbacks.
With 2 different and look, and I told him this. If you didn't play this game, you know what I'm finna say. You can talk about Gunnar Stockton not being talented is the most. This is what I saw when the kid took the field. The kid took the field, and when he took that lick, when was it Jadon Barron? Somebody hit him and like to killed him down by the goal line. Stockton got up, was woozy. The team went crazy. They loved it, right? I saw Georgia rally around that kid. I didn't even notice to show you how I got my eye on it. I didn't know that he was like from Georgia, and I saw how the teammates was hugging on him and loving him. I said, yeah, they love that kid. That's the kind of quarterback you need when you want to go on a run. You ain't got to be super talented. Just don't lose the game for us. I saw that with my own 2 eyes, man. Do y'all remember when Landon Dickinson got hurt in the Florida game? How the team came out there and everybody was patting on his helmet, and I seen sort of that same thing when Gunnar got up. When he got back to the sideline, the whole team was just like amped up, man. The crowd. So I said, oh, let me do some research on this kid. I didn't know he's from Georgia. He's from Georgia. He just be careful, man. It ain't the talent. It ain't the talent sometimes.
And Coach, I went and looked on Max Prep today. Gunnar Stockton is the real deal. I went back and looked at his high school tape.
Yeah.
The dude is the real deal. That's why Georgia got him. He fits their scheme just right. And then the other part of that, what you're talking about, it also shows, if you go back and you look when Carson Beck got hurt, what did Georgia do? Those dudes really did not rally around Carson like that.
They did not.
But when they really didn't. But when that play you're talking about with Gunnar, and he got up, and even though he was wounded, expected him to fall, he got up Georgia tough. And that's when them dudes amped up and they took that thing to the next level. So,
and they won.
Like I told you last week, man, I went back and thought about that. And when did that, we might catch Georgia slipping, but they're not going to slip all the way out. They're going to, they're going to be, they'll be there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happened, man.
I said that a couple weeks ago, Piano. Gunnar Stockton can't play football. Gunnar can play football, man.
Yeah,
that's Georgia high school football. He was a 4-star for a reason in the state of Georgia. The boy can play football.
Shout out to Chris, man. Chris, I appreciate you, my brother. I used to be out there with him, Chris. I just, man, I had a baby and I had to up the funds, if you know what I mean. I had to up the funds, man. So hey, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, Chris.
We don't make no money, Chris. So
look, Coach Carl out there now. He out there with him now, man. I miss it. I still go out there and stand on the sideline, and I'm a cheerleader now. You know what I'm saying? But facts, man. So we've been going about 2.5 hours, man. I appreciate y'all. It was a good chat, man. Much better than I thought it was gonna be. A lot of people tapped in with us on all these different platforms, man. Big old thanks to Coach Carl for coming on with me, man. Big old thanks to Ty coming on. Big old thanks for Piano Man to come on, man. And big old thanks for Brinsky to pop on, even in the car driving, man. Much love to all my brothers. They do a great job, and I appreciate them. Let everybody know where they can find you. Let's see if I can do this, Ty. Brinsky showed me how to do this. I don't never pay for this stuff. Let's see if I can. Where it go? No, it ain't. You. What the hell? Yeah, I suck at it, bro. Go ahead, Ty. Let everybody know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, you can.
Ty.
Sports on the Bama Standard.
Say again, Ty. Ty.
Yeah.
You went in the Matrix for a quick second.
My internet is struggling. You can find me here. You can find me Bama Standard. You can find me at Around the Table Sports. You can find me at Bleacher Report. Anywhere where they give me an opportunity to talk football.
Facts, man. Coach Carl.
And the same like time, man. You can find me here with Coach Sean, sometime with Piano, even with Brinsky. You can find me on YouTube at On the Block Sport Talk. You can find me on X at Coach KD Taylor. Appreciate the Coach Sean. Always send your boy on an invite. Good to see you, Ty, again. Piano, I so appreciate you too, man. And then hit me up, man. You got my number, man. We could talk to the criminal justice thing because I'm a month away from graduating. I finish in 4 weeks.
That's good stuff, man. Piano Man.
Hey, thank you, Coach Sean. First of all, thank you for 204 subscribers in the all season, man. I'm excited.
Growing.
And the 401k crew, you know I got your back. But you can find me at the Long Run with Piano Man. And twice on Mondays, I'm on from 8 until they let me go. And then I come back at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time and until 7 p.m. And then from Tuesday to Friday, we're on every morning with the morning run from 8 until they let me go. And then you can also catch me on any of these guys' channel. And Coach Carl, Ty Hayes, I'm waiting on you.
Man, I gotta crank mine back up. So I may do something Monday morning after you do something. So just holler at me Monday. Then I might jump on Monday after you get on.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Much love to everybody, man. Shout out to my brother Ty, man. Love seeing Ty on, man. That's why I try to send it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I keep him in my prayers, somewhere solving cases. You know what I'm saying? I love it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I love it, man. Shout out to my brother Coach Carl, doing big things. Love that, man. Crank it up, Coach Carl. We right there with you, brother. And shout out to Piano Man, whose channel growing, doing big things. Do not let hate steer you wrong. You continue to do what you do, bro, and you continue to push forward, man. People love what you're doing, and just keep going, bro. Don't let stupid stuff turn you around, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Coach Al. Shout out to Coach Jantz. Shout out to Clint Lamb. Shout out to Justin Smith. Shout out to KB, who showed up, man. Much love to KB doing his thing, man. Shout out to the whole Bama Standard. Shout out to our brother John. Shout out to Justin, the whole Bama Standard crew. Everybody, Marvin and all those boys, man. They all do great content. Tap in with all these dudes, man. They do great. Shout out to Kyle. Kyle's still doing great content. Tap in with these guys, man. They all do big things. Tap in with any of them. You can always find what you need if you're looking for that Bama fix. Thank you for everybody for tapping in. Shout out to my brother Gil. Keep Gil in your prayers. Keep Janet in your prayers. Keep Jenny in your prayers. Patriot Life. All my brothers, man, and sisters. Much love to you all, man. Roll Tide to you all. I'll see you guys next week. And all of you have a happy night, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.